Hey there, my sweet souls. Welcome back to the channel. Or if this is your very first time, pull up a chair and let me wrap you in a big OL hug. I'm Auntie Ray, your storyteller, your late night cup of tea, and the one who's gonna remind you that no matter how dark the night gets, morning always finds a way to show up. Tonight we've got a brand new life story for you, straight from the heart of Los Angeles, about a mama who discovered she wasn't the broke little widow her daughter thought she was, and what she did with that secret will have you laughing, crying, and cheering all at the same time. So grab your blanket, your chamomile, your tissues. You know I always make you cry happy tears, and let's sit together for a while. If this story touches your heart the way it touched mine, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and maybe leave me a little love in the comments. Tell me where in the world you're watching from tonight. I read every single one. Are you ready, darlings? Then come on in, the porch light's on, the kettle's hot, and the story's just beginning. This one's called The California Dream Betrayal. Maria Elena Morales sat in the sterile waiting room of Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, the kind of place where hope and dread mingled in the air like the faint scent of antiseptic and stale coffee. At 68, she had outlived her husband, Luis, by 6 months, and now she was here for a routine follow-up mammogram, the doctor's office insisting on vigilance after her family history. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting harsh shadows on the outdated magazines scattered across the side tables, issues of People and National Geographic from months ago, their pages curled from anxious thumbs. Maria fiddled with the hem of her simple cotton blouse, the one Luis had always said made her eyes look like the Pacific on a clear day. She wasn't nervous about the results. Grief had numbed her to smaller fears. Instead, she thought about the empty house waiting for her in Echo Park, the way the silence echoed since Luis's sudden heart attack at the breakfast table. They had been married for 45 years, a love story that started in a dusty high school in East LA. Luis, the quiet engineer from Oaxaca, had wooed her with homemade tamales and promises of a better life. He worked his way up at a civil engineering firm, designing bridges and freeways that crisscrossed the sprawling city, while Maria taught Spanish at local high schools, shaping young minds with conjugations and cultural tales. Their only child, Vanessa, had been the center of their world. Ballet lessons in Culver City, soccer games in Griffith Park, and family vacations to Disneyland where Luis would sneak extra churros into Maria's purse. But Vanessa had grown into something sharper, influenced by the glittering facade of Los Angeles. She chased the California dream with a fervor that left little room for her parents' modest existence. The phone in Maria's purse vibrated, jolting her from her reverie. She fished it out, seeing Vanessa's name on the screen. Her daughter's voice came through, crisp and detached, like a business call from one of those high-rise offices downtown. "Mom, listen, we're heading to Vegas tonight. Derek scored us a penthouse at the Cosmopolitan, views of the Strip and everything. I handled the sale of the Malibu bungalow and your old convertible. The money's already in the new LLC for our startup. You'll be okay on Social Security for a bit, right? Gotta run, love you, bye." The line clicked dead before Maria could utter a word. She stared at the phone, her heart pounding not with anger, but with a profound, echoing emptiness. 43 years of motherhood, nursing fevers, attending graduations, even paying for Vanessa's lavish wedding to Derek, the slick tech entrepreneur who always smelled of expensive cologne and false promises, and it boiled down to this: a casual discard, like yesterday's latte cup tossed in a Beverly Hills bin. The nurse called her name, pulling her into the exam room. The doctor, a kind-faced woman in her 40s, reviewed the scans with a reassuring smile. "Everything looks clear, Mrs. Morales. No changes from last time. Just keep up with your annuals and watch that stress. Widowhood can be tough." Maria nodded mechanically, her mind elsewhere. As she left the hospital, stepping into the relentless LA sunshine that baked the sidewalks and made palm trees shimmer like mirages, she hailed a bus instead of driving home. According to Vanessa, the powder blue 1964 Mustang convertible, Luis's baby, the car he'd restored piece by piece in their garage, was no longer hers. The bus rumbled down Wilshire Boulevard, past gleaming skyscrapers and homeless encampments, a stark reminder of the city's dual nature. Maria watched the world blur by, her thoughts drifting to that manila envelope Luis had given her 3 days before his death. They had been sitting in their cozy kitchen, the one with the yellow tiles Maria had chosen during a Home Depot splurge in the 90s. Luis had poured her coffee, black with 2 sugars, and slid the envelope across the table. "Mija," he said, his voice steady but eyes soft. "If anything happens to me, put this away. Open it when you're ready, alone." She had tucked it into her dresser drawer without a second thought, buried under scarves and old photos. Grief had erased it from her memory until now, until Vanessa's call cracked something open inside her. Back home, the Echo Park bungalow felt smaller, the air thick with absence. The rosemary bush by the front door swayed in the breeze, releasing its herbal scent as Maria brushed past. Inside, the house was a time capsule. Luis's engineering books on the shelves, Vanessa's childhood artwork framed on the walls, the faint outline of where the family photos used to hang before Vanessa borrowed a few for her condo. Maria went straight to the bedroom, knelt by the dresser, and retrieved the envelope. Her hands trembled slightly as she slid it open. Inside were legal documents, deeds to properties she didn't recognize, statements from brokerage accounts with numbers that made her blink twice, and a handwritten letter in Luis's precise script. "My dearest Maria, if you're reading this, I'm no longer there to hold your hand through the mornings. Forgive me for keeping secrets, but I did it out of love. You know I started as a draftsman scraping by on city contracts. But in the 80s, when real estate crashed, I saw opportunities. I bought fixer-uppers in Venice, flipped a few, held on to others. Airbnb turned them into gold mines. Then came the condos in Santa Monica, the duplexes in Culver. 12 properties in total, all paid off, generating over $150,000 a month in rent after expenses. The trust is in your name only. There's also the portfolio, stocks in tech companies I consulted for, bonds, even some crypto I dabbled in quietly. Conservative estimates put it at $32 million. I never told you because I loved our simple life, the Echo Park walks, the tamale stands on Olvera Street. And I never wanted Vanessa to see us as a bank. She's ambitious, Mija, but ambition without roots is dangerous. Protect yourself. And when she needs it, teach her. Te amo por siempre, Luis." Maria sat on the edge of the bed, the papers fanned out around her like fallen leaves. $32 million? Luis, the man who clipped coupons for Ralph's and drove the same Honda for 20 years, had built an empire in the shadows. She remembered his late nights working on blueprints, the mysterious trips to the bank. It all made sense now. A laugh bubbled up from her chest, surprising her, half joy, half disbelief. Then tears came, hot and fast, for the man who had loved her enough to plan beyond his own life. That night, she poured a finger of mezcal from the bottle they'd saved for special occasions and sat on the back porch. The Hollywood sign glowed in the distance, a beacon of false promises. Vanessa's Instagram pinged on her phone, a story from Vegas, champagne flutes clinking, Derek's arms slung possessively around her waist. Caption: "New chapter, new money, new us money with wing sparkles." Maria saved the photo, then dialed the number on the business card clipped to the trust documents. Arthur Klein, ESQ, estate attorney in Century City. Arthur's office was a sleek contrast to Maria's world. Glass walls, minimalist furniture, a view of the smog-shrouded hills. He was in his 50s, sharp-suited with kind eyes behind rimless glasses. "Mrs. Morales, your husband was a genius at discretion. Everything's ironclad. What's your play?" Maria leaned forward, her voice steady. "Quiet reclamation. Start with the bungalow and the car. No drama yet." Arthur nodded, jotting notes. "We'll file for fraudulent conveyance on the bungalow. The buyers won't fight if we prove forgery on the power of attorney. The Mustang? Easier. Trace the VIN, offer buyback with incentive." Over the next weeks, Maria dove into her new reality. She met with property managers in coffee shops off Abbot Kinney, learning about occupancy rates and maintenance schedules. The Venice properties were eclectic, a bohemian triplex rented to artists, a modern loft block pulling in tech brothers. The Santa Monica condos overlooked the ocean, their balconies catching sunsets that could make a poet weep. She opened accounts at Vanguard and Fidelity, watching stock tickers with the fascination of a student. Substitute teaching kept her grounded. Conjugating verbs with rowdy teens at Fairfax High reminded her of who she was beyond the numbers. Vanessa called sporadically, her voice bubbly from exotic locales. Mom, Mykonos is insane. White beaches, blue water. Derek's pitching to investors on a yacht. You okay? Need me to send money? Maria swallowed the irony. I'm managing hijab. Enjoy. The calls grew shorter, Vanessa's world expanding while Maria's contracted into strategic patience. Then, the cracks appeared. Derek's crypto wellness platform, a mashup of NFTs and meditation apps, hit the headlines for all the wrong reasons. The SEC investigation leaked to TechCrunch. Pyramid scheme allegations. Influencers paid in worthless tokens. User funds vanished. Vanessa's Instagram went dark. Whispers reached Maria through mutual friends. Derek had fled to Cabo with a suitcase of cash and a Brazilian model. Vanessa was stranded in Vegas, her luxury condo seized as collateral. She arrived at the Echo Park door on a rainy Tuesday in October, mascara streaked, carrying a single Louis Vuitton suitcase that looked comically out of place. Her hair, usually blowout perfect, hung limp. "Mom," she whispered, collapsing into Maria's arms. Maria held her, stroking her back like when Vanessa was 5 and scared of thunderstorms. "Sure, it's okay. Come inside." They sat at the kitchen table, the Virgin of Guadalupe lamp casting a warm glow. Vanessa spilled it all between sobs. Derek's lies about the startup's legitimacy, the forged signatures on loans, the night he disappeared leaving a note that read, "Better luck next time, babe." She had Max credit cards on flights home, sold jewelry for bus fare from LAX. "I have nothing, Mom. The bungalow money? Gone. The car? Flipped for quick cash. I'm on every blacklist. I can't even get a Starbucks card." Maria made chamomile tea, adding honey the way Vanessa liked. "You can stay here. Your old room's waiting." Vanessa looked around, eyes widening at the humility. "After what I did, selling your home, Dad's car, treating you like a burden?" Maria finished softly. "We'll work through it, but you need to stand on your own feet now." Vanessa nodded, wiping her eyes. The next day, she pounded pavement on Sunset Boulevard, landing a waitressing gig at a greasy spoon diner called Mel's Graveyard Shift because day jobs wanted references she couldn't provide. She downloaded the Uber app, renting a beat-up Prius for gigs, navigating LA's eternal traffic jams while dodging drunk passengers and low ratings. Maria observed silently. Vanessa came home at dawn, feet blistered from cheap sneakers, smelling of French fries and regret. She crashed on the couch, waking to help with chores, scrubbing the yellow tiles, weeding the rosemary bush. Conversations turned raw. "How could I be so blind, Mom? Derek said we'd be the next power couple, like Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Love makes fools, hijab, but so does greed." Weeks blurred into months. Vanessa's hands roughened from dishwater, her wardrobe shifted from designer to thrift store finds. She confided in Maria over late-night tacos from a truck on Alvarado. "I interviewed for a marketing job today. They laughed at my resume. Crypto influencer? That's not real experience." Maria nodded, hiding her portfolio app showing gains in Apple stock. "Keep trying." One evening, Vanessa broke down in the kitchen. "I sold Dad's Mustang for peanuts, Mom. That car was his soul. And the bungalow, our summers there, building sandcastles, Dad grilling carne asada. I threw it away for a con man." Maria hugged her. Things can be replaced. People? Not always. In January, Maria suggested a drive. They rented a bland Corolla, Vanessa assuming it was for errands. Maria headed west on the 10, the freeway humming under them as billboards for blockbuster movies flashed by. Malibu appeared, the ocean a sapphire ribbon against cliffs dotted with millionaire mansions. They parked across from the bungalow, its cream stucco glowing in the winter light. Newspapers piled on the porch. The bougainvillea bloomed wildly, untamed. "It's empty," Vanessa whispered, voice cracking. Maria turned off the engine. "It's mine again. Has been since summer." Vanessa's head whipped around. "What? How?" "The sale was fraudulent. Your power of attorney? Forged. I had a lawyer handle it quietly." Vanessa's face crumpled. Shock, guilt, fury. "You knew? All this time I've been slinging hash browns at Mel's, driving drunks around WeHo, and you had the money?" Maria met her gaze evenly. "Yes." "Why? Why let me suffer?" "Because suffering teaches what handouts can't. You needed to feel the weight of your choices, Hija." The coldness in that phone call. It wasn't just words, it was dismissal. Of me, of Dad's memory, of everything we built. Vanessa buried her face in her hands. "I was stupid, chasing the dream Derek sold me. The yachts, the influence, the new us. I thought money was freedom." "Money is a tool," Maria said. "Freedom is knowing you can survive without it." They walked to the beach, toes sinking into cold sand. Waves crashed, seagulls cried overhead. Vanessa kicked at a shell. "What now? Am I cut off forever?" Maria smiled faintly. "No." But the lesson continues. Phase 3 unfolded deliberately. Maria transferred a Santa Monica duplex to Vanessa's name. No strings, but with a mandate to manage it solo. Vanessa dove in, flustered at first. Evicting a squatter, fixing a leaky roof during an El Niño downpour, negotiating with tenants over late rent. She balanced it with diner shifts, her days a whirlwind of spreadsheets and syrup spills. "I hate this," she confessed one night, poring over lease agreements under the Guadalupe lamp. "But I get it now. These people rely on me, like you relied on me, and I failed." Maria nodded. "Failure's the best teacher." Vanessa's growth bloomed slowly. She enrolled in night classes at Santa Monica College, property management, then urban planning, paying with tips and rental income. She kept Uber gigs for flexibility, ferrying families to airports and listening to their stories. One passenger, a single mom escaping an abusive ex, inspired her. "Mom, there are so many women like her, trapped, no resources." In July, an eviction notice arrived for the seized Vegas condo, a final twist from Derek's mess. Vanessa laughed hysterically. "Look at this. But today, I made $400 in tips. My hands, my effort." Maria revealed more that night. The full extent of Luis's empire. Vanessa's eyes widened at the deeds, the statements. "Dad did all this? For us." "For family," Maria corrected. "Now, what will you do with it?" They opened Casa Luis y Maria in October, converting 3 Venice units into transitional housing for single mothers fleeing violence. Vanessa ran daily operations, intake interviews, job placement workshops, while Maria oversaw finances. The foundation grew, partnering with local nonprofits, hosting fundraisers at the Malibu bungalow. On New Year's Eve, they watched fireworks from the Echo Park roof. Vanessa raised her cup to rock bottom. Maria clinked to rising stronger. The California dream, they learned, wasn't in the glitz. It was in the grit, the rebuild, the quiet sunrises over a city that never slept but always forgave. And that, my loves, is how a quiet widow and her wayward daughter turned betrayal into the strongest love they'd ever known. Sometimes the hardest lessons build the softest landings. If this story warmed your heart, healed something inside you, or just gave you hope tonight, do me a favor, share it with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late to come home, to yourself, to family, to grace. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. I'll be right here waiting for you in the next one. Until then, keep your heart open, your tea hot, and remember, you are so, so loved. This is Annie Ray, signing off with all my love.